They're coming for the entire crew, guys. Actor Bryan Callen accused of sexual assault misconduct from the LA Times. Now it kind of makes sense why he was crying, and so was Brendan Schaub. No wonder why he hasn't been on the podcast, and Brendan had to do it with Bert Kreischer, too. So LA Times reports, as soon as she saw his name, Catherine Fiore, Tiger Man, broke out in a cold sweat, her shirt damp. She scrolled through the text messages from her friend, alerting her that comedian Chris D'Elia was being accused of sexual assault by scores of women on Twitter. She never watched the comic stand up. She just knew that he was the best friend of Bryan Callen, a fellow comedian and actor. And Callen, she'd been told, those closest to her had once raped her. My God. Lightheaded, she logged onto Twitter to scan the allegations. She found that many of the tweets referred not to just D'Elia's supposed misconduct, but to that of his tight circle of male comedians. Are they going to get Rogan? My first thought was, it's something going to happen with Bryan, Tiger Man recalled. What a dumb last name, Tiger Man. Reading all the comments, I thought, here it comes. I've known how terrible this person is for 20 years, and maybe I'm not the only one. In a statement to the Times, Callen adamantly denied raping Tigerman and said that their encounter was consensual. So this is why he has been off the podcast. He knew this story was going to come out, because he gave them a statement. Tigerman is not the only woman to claim that Callen was sexually inappropriate with her. Since June 17th, the day D'Elia started trending on social media, 3 additional women told the Times that they had been mistreated by Callen, 53, describing troubling sexual incidents ranging from assault to misconduct to disturbing comments. This story suggests a pattern of behavior that spans decades, going back at least as far as 1999. When Tigerman said Callen held her down and forced her to have sex with him as she pleaded with him to stop. In the years since, 3 women claimed the Goldbergs actor continued to be both verbally and physically aggressive. An American apparel saleswoman said that in 2009, Callen pinned her against the wall of a fitting room against her will and began to kiss her. An aspiring actress who had a 4-year affair with Callen while he was married said he told her in 2016 that women have a biological primal desire to be... Whoa, that's weird. 1 year later, a female comedian said he suggested she give him oral sex in exchange for stage time and money. She needed the money. Oh! Callen denied all these accounts. Let me be very clear. I have never raped, forced myself upon any woman, nor offered to trade stage time for sex ever, he said in a statement to the Times. I know the truth, and I can only hold my head up high, remain true to myself, my family, my audience, and know that I will not allow the cancel culture to subvert what I know, and as importantly, that they know it the truth. In recent weeks, Callen has come to the defense of D'Elia, who said last month that he'd only ever had consensual relationships and hadn't knowingly pursued underage females. Okay, on his June 18th episode of his podcast, The Fighter and the Kid, Callen described D'Elia as a ladies' man whom he'd never seen or heard, engaging in illegal activity. Right now, I have to believe that because he's still a friend, he said. And then Callen and D'Elia together. Well, despite the assertion within days, Callen had scrubbed his Instagram account of any trace of D'Elia. Oh, yeah. Now, wait. Now, are they all going to do that with Callen? Is he, like, off the Fighter and the Kid now, do you think? Because this isn't, like, this is the LA Times article, dude. Even Tigerman, who tried her best to avoid Callen since 1999, was aware of Callen's friendship with D'Elia was part of his public persona. When Tigerman first met in 1994, Callen was not established as an actor. Yeah, then they just go, Oh, we got another accusation here. In fact, Tigerman's father, actor Bill Fiore, gave Callen one of his first acting gigs, a role in the mid-90s New York City theater production. Years later, when Tigerman moved to L.A., she ran into Callen. When he arrived to pick her up at her West Hollywood apartment, Callen immediately commented on her outfit. She said, "I came downstairs in these dumb jeans and a gray long-sleeve shirt," and he goes, "What are you wearing a bra for? Girls don't wear bras. Take it off," recalled Tigerman, now 44. She laughed it off, and they got in his car. How long is this article? At dinner, she ordered a glass of wine and excused herself to go to the restroom. By the end of the meal, she'd consumed only about half the glass, but felt nauseous and disoriented. Still, when Callen suggested they head to a movie theater after dinner, she obliged. Back in the car, he attempted to find a newsstand where he could purchase a paper to look up showtimes, but ultimately decided to stop at his house to do so. At his home, above the Sunset Strip, the two sat down on the couch, and Callen began kissing Tigerman. She was uncomfortable and felt ill, so she went to the bathroom. I remember looking in the mirror and being like, okay, you just have to tell him to take you home. This isn't going right, Tigerman said. I need to sit with him and have a conversation about how we were best buds and I was in love with another dude. But when she emerged from the restroom, she said, Callen was immediately outside the doorway. He moved behind her, staring at her in the mirror. Look how hot you are. You could be a Playboy playmate, she said, he told her. Within moments, she said she found herself in his bedroom where he pushed her down on the mattress. As he ran her hands over her body, she said, she kept saying no. Her mind drifted to a crime show she'd recently seen on TV in which a woman repeated her name aloud to her abuser in an attempt to humanize herself to him. So I said, I'm Catherine, it's me, please. This is not what I want them to be doing right now, she said. And he's like, you're going to love this. We're just going to get this out the way. You're going to love this. You're going to be my girlfriend. She felt powerless as she screamed. She feared no one would hear her from his private home. She didn't think she could escape from under the weight of his body, so she checked out, eventually ceasing her pleading and remaining silent. This is how Callen remembers the incident. He stressed to the Times on Thursday Tigerman's claim of rape is demonstrably false, saying they both agreed to have sex. Tigerman said that after the 1999 encounter was over, she immediately began crying and searching for her underwear. Her bottoms had been thrown on the ground where Callen's dog had shoe holes in them. Jesus. Noticing her tears, he tried to calm her down. Oh, come on, what am I? A big bad rapist? I'm not a big bad rapist, she said. He told her, come on, you're going to be my girlfriend now. We needed to get this out of the way. Callen did not respond to a question about this comment. Tigerman told Callen that he needed to drive her home, which he did. Back at her apartment, she called her best friend and then her boyfriend, Rhino Romano, both of whom remembered her distraught phone calls and corroborated Tigerman's story. Romano drove to be with her, but she was so upset she wouldn't let him touch her. I just wanted to kill the guy, Romano recalled. I tried to gently encourage her to do something about it, but she insisted it was better to put it behind her. Damn, she's got corroborating witnesses? Indeed, Tigerman acknowledged she threatened to break up with Romano if he told anyone about the alleged incident. She feared that if her father found out, he would get into a physical altercation with Callen and end up in jail. And the idea of going to the cops and submitting to a rape kit felt too physically invasive, so she went alone and got pregnancy and STD tests. Eventually, Callen stopped calling, but Tigerman would go on to confide in those closest to her about the alleged assault. Within a year, she had shared this story with fellow actress, her husband, Gabriel Tigerman. Heard this story early on in the courtship in 2006, and her best friend, actress Jenny Wade, learned about the incident in 2014. All three confirmed these accounts in interviews with the Times. As Callen's star roles, other women said, his brazen behavior continued. In 2009, Callen walked into an American Apparel store in Pittsburgh. Rachel Green, an employee there, had no idea who he was, but her colleagues recognized him and pulled up an IMDb to show her his credits. The actor, meanwhile, had ventured to the second floor of the store, an area that required employee supervision. So Green trailed him upstairs and helped him gather clothes he wanted to try on. He was friendly, she said, though he did emerge from the fitting room wearing only his boxer brief numerous times. The following day, Callen returned to the store and again requested Green's help. This time, he was wearing a Speedo. It was one of those tight, gross little things, she said. He ran out of the fitting room to grab something, so I went in to get the clothes he'd already tried on. And then he comes in, pushes me against the wall, closes the curtains, and starts kissing my neck and asks if I'm going to get in trouble. Shocked, Green said, she pushed Callen off her and ran downstairs, telling her colleague he just attempted to make out with her. I remember not really taking it seriously, which is something I have felt guilty about, frankly, for a couple of years, said Lydia Haylet-Liger, one of the two co-workers who told the Times that Green immediately told them something untoward had occurred with Callen that day. As I'd seen him on TV over the years, I'd be like, that was really not okay, and I tried to laugh it off. Callen denied ever forcing himself on any woman. Callen often played up his reputation as a self-proclaimed dirtbag in a 2016 episode of his podcast featuring Whitney Cummings. And remember, we watched this during a live stream, and I said, if he ever gets accused, they're going to go back to this podcast and play this story that they're about to address in this article and use it against him. Because Whitney Cummings pretty much said he assaulted her, too, and he just whipped it out. And the reason why they didn't take down that podcast is because that's back when they were signed with Fox. So it's not up on the Fighter and the Kid, their YouTube channel. It's up on the Fox Sports YouTube channel, so they can't take it down. Callen joked about how he'd been sexually harassing her since early in her career. Cummings then revealed that Callen had once asked for a ride home. And basically, I just explained the story. They were in the car, and he said to whip it out. But she's probably not going to accuse him. But, yeah, incredible story. I'm not going to go through the entire article. I mean, this video is long enough. But he's being accused by multiple women. The stories are corroborated. He denies it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.